now is strategy expert Dikpo Oyewole. Thank you so much, Dikpo, for being here with us.
Good morning.
All right. How effective do you think the federal government has been in responding to economic challenges, and what immediate actions would you recommend, being a strategist yourself?
Well, given them a scorecard, we have to look at the results on ground. And with the results we have in the field, we say that they scored very, very poorly, unfortunately. And with regards to their interventions, yes, they are making attempts, but are they effective enough? No, they are not effective enough. Unfortunately, this is the conversation that has been lingering for a couple of months now, and it keeps getting harder, keeps getting more difficult. But in terms of seeing effective strategies that they would put in place, I believe it was a couple of months ago, I was on this program and we discussed the possibility of having to have some regulation around the prices, because what we also found is that we have a lot of people who are retailers, who are wholesalers, who just go about hiking up prices unnecessarily for no reason whatsoever. There was a video that was in circulation on social media, I believe, a week or two ago, where a particular individual who is a retailer went to get cartons of spaghetti. And he said that the night before it was sold for, I think, 9,500. The morning after it was sold for 10,500. And they did that because they saw that the night before there was a lot of demand on it. And same stock, same everything, they hiked the price by 1,000 naira. Later in the day, the price had gone up, and he also said, okay, so what if he chose to sell these at 21,000 or 27,000? So those are the issues we're having right now, and I've long advocated that the government see how they can effectively use the local governments to see how to govern effectively, because they are the closest to the people. They are the closest form of government to the people. So they are the ones that can automatically and directly feel the pulse of the people to know what's really going on in the field. But unfortunately, we haven't seen a lot of effective execution in that regard.
All right. I mean, you've touched on some aspect in which the former president had mentioned. General Abubakar mentioned the need for collaboration between federal, state, and, of course, local governments as well, to ensure that they can ensure the economic situation can be far better than what we have now. But my question to you is, let's go down to the local government level now. What is expected? What practical steps can be taken? Are we expecting a food bank to be created in different locations? Are we expecting a rice farm? What are we expecting really that can help Nigerians at this moment?
Okay, well, a few things come to mind with that question. And one, I'd like to use Lagos State as a prototype, even though what's going on in Lagos isn't replicated in other states. I don't know why that is the case. But you agree with me that in Lagos State, Nigeria, there are a couple of locations where the state has been able to build up markets, certain markets that they get to sell goods at subsidized rates. I think the government subsidizing up to like 40%. And even with that, unfortunately, I think it was early in the year or maybe end of last year, when the whole situation was starting to brew and was looking like there wasn't going to be any form of reprieve, that the Lagos State came up with this initiative. And there was a video I saw of the Commissioner for, I believe, Agriculture, where she had a meeting with the market folk, and she was very, very frustrated. So this was why she was frustrated, and this was what was going on. So you have folks within the marketplace selling goods, food items that were subsidized by the government, up to 40%, okay? And then you have other market folks from outside that particular market location coming, mop up the entire stock, go out and sell it at exorbitant prices. So they don't even sell it at the normal market prices outside. They get to even hike it a lot more, even though they bought it at a subsidized rate. So those are part of the issues that we're saying that it is prevalent and we must see how to tackle it. Now, to the local government side of it, local government is one sure way you can always get data, and this is the data you need. So you have folks in the local government that can always go into the market in their particular location to conduct surveys. How much is the paint of Gary going for in this market? How much is this person selling it? How much is the other person selling it? What's the average? Is this what the price is supposed to be? In the cases where you have people who are flouting, who are hiking prices or flouting regulations or around what the prices should be or what the margins should be, there should be some form of punishment. Of course, some people would frown at this and say, okay, we're running a free market. But unfortunately, everything is seemingly going off the rails. And the government needs to do something. And the place that the local government will play in this particular regard is being able to get this data, see how they can liaise with the federal government, because, I mean, this has to also come from the federal government, where they see how to get this data from the local government and know the real situation of things and know how they can address things from the top. Because you cannot say that you're conducting any form of intervention without any meaningful data at play. You'll just be wasting your time and wasting resources.
All right, Mr. Oyewole, we've seen palliatives being shared, especially when Nigerians have gone ahead to say, if anything goes wrong, as we can see, the first option usually is rice. There's flooding, there's rice. There's pain in the land, it's rice. And we've also passed different administrations where monies seem to be given to individuals, and yet we don't see these individuals come out to say they've received from the government. Well, let's talk about, finally, very briefly, what short-term measures can be put in place now as we speak before we look at a longer-term measure?
Well, the short-term measures that need to be put in place, I believe that the government is attempting to do that now, not holding brief for them, because over the last couple of months, I don't know if it's been on a monthly basis, but we know that they've sent out a number of trailer loads to different states to share grains, rice, millets, wheat, and all the likes. And unfortunately, we have also seen videos where different folks within those systems have been able to somehow rebag those items and sell them on the open market. But this is what I would like the government to do, to see how they can have stringent measures to ensure that they monitor all these things that they're sending out, to ensure that it gets to the people that it is intended for. Because when it doesn't get to them, then the entire effort of the government is moot. The second thing is to ensure that there is strong punishment for people that go about circumventing all these interventions. Because this is what we've had time and time again. Over the years, we've had issues where you see different items meant for IDP cards being sold in supermarkets that are clearly branded not for sale for this particular intended purpose, and then you see them in supermarkets. There hasn't been any form of punishment whatsoever. So until we understand that there's a place for consequences within our system, there will not be a deterrent for all these things going on. So we must see that the items get to the people, and we must see that people are punished adequately. But another thing that the government needs to look at is effective communication. And communication is two ways. It's about what you say and what you do not say. Now, in what you say, how effective are you saying it, and how is it reaching the people? In what you do not say, what the people want to see now is effective cost of governance. We must be able to cut it, and not just think to cut it, it must actually be cut. Because you cannot be telling people to tighten their belts and then you're spending like you have unlimited resources. It contradicts the message you're passing. So the government must see that they must communicate effectively with what they say and with what they do not say. So it's about their actions on both ends. So when you're saying that people should practice austerity, you must also be seen to do so, and you must do so religiously. So it will give the people the sense that we are all in this together, and the huge vacuum of distrust between the governed and the government and the people doing the governing wouldn't be so wide, because now there's a dichotomy of us versus them. Excuse me. And unfortunately, that gulf keeps widening every single time, and the government must see how they plug it up and how they bridge that particular gulf.
All right. I mean, piggybacking on what you just said, tightening the belts would also mean it affects every single person, including those at the top and the helms of affairs. Thank you so much, Dipo Oyewole, for joining us, strategy expert here on News Now. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.